Okay. We have to address something. And this word gets tossed around way too much like sliced butter. And that is toxic masculinity. Now, here's the thing. You know how humans are. We like to literally label something that is triggering us just for us to have something to blame. But in this case, I really want to, like I said, I really want to confront what toxic masculinity is really all about. And why is it that it's a hot topic of everyone's realization? And no, it's not just about feminines. It's about us realizing that we're living in a society that's really ruled by toxic masculinity. But the thing is, on the video I'm going to share with you today, we're going to dive into understanding it on a deeper level, the traits of it, and how it affects every single thing today that we call life. Beautiful beings. Well, welcome back, Awaken Ones, on another episode on Embraces, such a series with your homegirl, Brittany Fontanez. So glad to be here. So glad to be back. I took a hiatus from last year, and now it's in the new year. I feel like I'm back and better and wanting to share a lot more shit upon my journey, because I feel it will resonate and assist you. But on this channel, well, I'm an energetic activator, and the whole point of my channel is to help you awaken to things you have yet to see. So, and that includes within you, boo boo, all about uplifting and also helping you see your potential, but also realizing what is going on in your outer reality so we can own our sovereignty. Other than that, beautiful beings, if you enjoy my energy, don't forget to hit that, just caress that like button and caress that subscribe button, because it wants caressing too. Everyone wants to be touched. Everyone wants that love. Let me stop. I'm feeling that. My Capricorn ass is feeling that freaking energy, man. Let's get off that topic. Let's be adults here. Well, that is part of adulting, Brittany. Okay. Anywho, so let's talk about what is toxic masculinity. First of all, the reason why I feel like I want to address this, I want to emphasize everything I'm sharing with you is through my own observation. I'm not saying this is the only way. I'm not saying I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not trying to bash another gender. I'm trying to really assist you in understanding how you can be aware of these traits and how they are affecting your everyday life, because it is. And I want everyone to understand that masculine and feminine are not genders. They are energy. We are energy, not just physical. So please understand that all of us have feminine, masculine energy. So this is resonating to the part of us that is expressing our toxicity, and that happens to be in our masculine energy. Now, what is the masculine energy? The masculine energy is all about action. It's all about drive. It's all about structure. It's all about logic, the left brain. And I want to share and emphasize something with you guys that a lot of us don't know, that the Bible really does not emphasize. And like I said, I'm not here to bash anything, just to help you awaken to see a different perspective other than your own. So I don't believe everything the Bible says, but I do believe some of it, because I feel the way that our society is structured and what we call life is not really assisting or benefiting us. So when they say this world is man-made, what really is dumbfounding to me is that if it is, why do us women exist, and why are women the only ones capable of reproducing? So if it really was a man-made world, why do we exist? Why does anything else exist? So I bring that to the forefront because that's what the Bible is really all about. I'm not talking about religion. I'm just trying to help you understand how this relates to toxic masculinity. So since religion was the ruler of this entire world as it started to evolve to what it is today, knowing that everyone says this is a man-made world, I believe the only thing that's man-made is society, not the universe. Let's put that in the forefront. But Since we've been told it's a man world, it's a man's world, it's a man's world. Even through religion, look at the cross, for instance. Turn it upside down, looks like a penis. But the reason why I want to share all this with you guys is because I want you to understand that even in the Bible, it says Alpha, Omega. We need two of these energies to make a compound harmony and balance in order to create some form of life. The masculine and feminine energy put together, it creates such a bountiful essence of existence. So to say that there's only one energy that created everything and that the only thing that's important is so ignorant of us. So in the Bible, when it says Alpha and Omega, they refer that to the masculine energy. But I'm here to share a newfound, profound way of thinking. When you look at the Ankh, this symbol from the Egyptian times, why does it look like this, but the structure of the cross doesn't look that way? It's because the structure of the cross is only representing masculinity. And when we are in our masculine energy so much, we can get toxic. The same thing when we have too much overindulgence of something, it becomes not good for us. And why is it that we're taught that? Because there's a freaking reason. A whole nother video for a whole nother day, boo-boo. But now that we know this, I want to share something with you. So if Alpha represents the masculine, and the masculine represents the sun, and the sun represents the ego, then the Omega, Om, represents the feminine, the moon, the dark subconscious energy, the right brain, what it is that's underneath the surface, as if the masculine energy only shows what's above the surface. And look at the Ankh, for example. Alpha, L, represents a penis, hence a wand. And then look at the Om, represents the vajayjay. You know what I mean? But I mean, the thing that we all love. I'm just saying. Now I'm speaking for myself. I take that back. But the Om, the vajayjay, that looks like a portal. That is the beginning of the symbol of the Ankh. So as we know this, and we're going into understanding masculine energy, we have to understand feminine energy. I'm going to do a video on that too. Understanding toxic femininity as well. There's a such thing as that. But we're going to get into the good traits and the toxic traits so we can understand how these energies are a part of us and how they are affecting us. So now that we know that we need the masculine energy and the feminine energy, let's get more in depth on how the masculine energy can stray from its true intention. Because masculine energy, like I said, is structure, it's the logical brain. It creates ideas. It creates foundations. It's that willpower, that drive. What happens when you feel good? Like your ego feel good, boo. You're feeling yourself. You're productive. You want to do shit. You want to go out. You want to be seen. You want to do you. You are creating a foundation. So you're creating a ripple effect, and that's what the masculine energy is all about. Whereas the feminine energy, I'm going to do a video on that, of course, represents the full, broad perspective of the internal beauty that can't be replicated. Ooh, boo, get a video on that another day. But other than that, you guys, so toxic masculine energy helps the ego understand that we need it in order to be in this physicality. Because if the feminine is the spirituality, then the physicality is the masculine. So we need this vessel. We need this ego because it serves us. It helps us be able to maneuver in this life. But how can we stray away, and how does the masculine energy become toxic masculinity? It becomes toxic masculinity by first, as I'm reading, masculinity becomes toxic when men feel, not just men, I want to rephrase that because it does reside within all of us. We all have this tendency to become toxic within our masculine or feminine energy. So as I said, toxic masculinity becomes toxic when people who are in their masculine energy feel the need to conform to rigid gender norms, which include acting like a bully to maintain a consistent competitive advantage, avoiding losing at all costs, restraining one's emotions except for pride and anger, which are only the acceptable masculine emotions to express, showing strength and aggression in moments of conflict, being dominant over women, or other men, and typically displays through microaggressions. That's deep and a lot to take in. And I feel the reason why we conform to this is because this is what we're taught. But this is why it's very important to become self-aware, especially when it comes to 2023. And this is the whole reason why I call this series Embrace the Ascension, because you're evolving to always new levels and deeper levels of who you truly are. So that means we have to shed these parts of ourselves that are blocking our true intentions and essence. So the toxic masculinity forms all these different traits, and it also creates a lot of internal energetic spiritual blockages that creates a lot of resentment, restraint, or restriction towards what it is that we really, really want. So let's get a little deeper into understanding more different traits of toxic masculinity. So they are a victim. What is it? Never a victim. Yeah. That's one big thing I've actually learned as I've become more aware. So I started to realize I'm an androgynous being. So I have masculine and feminine traits. And because I hold such a balance between those two energies. So I started to realize within my own energy, and even recognizing within a lot of men as well, but people who hold masculine energy the most, is that they never want to be a victim. And I feel like thinking that way causes them to never being willing to ask for help because they think help is weak. Now, another way is emasculation, feeling like they always have to compete, even with their partner, or thinking most men think that if their wife makes or their girlfriend makes more money than them, they feel like they're less of a man. That doesn't make you less of anything. It just means that you have a belief that's causing distortion within you to make you feel like you're not worthy of good things, or you're not worthy as you are. And a lot of masculine energies are taught that you can't be vulnerable, you can't feel, you can't express. And a lot of people don't know this. Back when it was World War I, World War II, a lot of men were taught to suppress their emotion because it helps them to compete in war and not have any empathy in order for them to be able to be in combat. So it was really a strategy back in the days for the military to thrive. But since it's rippled into our society, this is how it's affecting every single one of us. And this is why a lot of men, particularly in a lot of households, or even women who have a lot of masculine energy, men themselves, they become abusive, overpowering. They think they have to control everything, what really stems from fear. As the women who are in the masculine energy become very emotionally unavailable, not present, and really manipulative at that. So, but back into more toxic masculinity. They always taught to be a man, not feel, always be violent because they believe they have to show their strength as a form of aggression, as in violence shows how much power that they hold. Suppressed emotions and initiations. Toxic masculinity really does express a lot of initiation in ways that is not healthy for themselves in itself as that. And what I mean by initiations, I feel is saying, no, let me read this as I say that. Well, to me, I feel like when it says initiation, it's like they're always the one to have to say something and always have to finish something. So always being the one getting the last word. So those are signs and traits of toxic masculinity. And the reason why I wanted to share that with you guys is because when we can become aware of what we're not aware of that's causing the problems that we do not like within our lives, and if we want to really make these changes, becoming aware of these traits within ourselves and within others really gives us the advantage to recognize the changes that need to take place. So I want to share more examples with you guys because I feel like some people might need more examples so you can see how this is resonating with your personal life, so you can be able to start to make some shifts and probably need to let go of some people and let go of parts of yourself that are not serving you. So what are examples of toxic masculinity? A man, or like I said, someone who holds the masculine energy the most, should suffer physically and emotionally pain in silence. So if you notice, a lot of men don't want to express how they feel, hence why they don't really have, relationships they can rely on. And it's crazy how if you meet some men, if they didn't have a mother figure in their life, they become really reliant on their partners. And that could be a wounded feminine energy within themselves, or men who had such a strict masculine structure. It makes them resist love. It makes them resist softness and warmth, and it causes them to be in their toxic masculinity. So those are two ways that men could be in their own ways, in their own wounds. Not ways, but in their own wounds, traumas. Now, second example, a man doesn't need warmth, comfort, or tenderness. This is how the world is today. And to think the fact that women aren't important, but, give a woman food, she makes a meal. Give a woman a house, she makes it a home. Give a woman a seat, she makes a baby, It's like, if it's really a man's world, then why is it that you crave more than materialistic possessions and what your mind is striving for, hence your ego? And I want to share something with you guys. The reason why a lot of men nowadays are in their in their sacral chakra, because they are not growing above that, is because they're seeking some sense of connection back with God. So having sex all the time, or being in that lustful states, and getting that energy from a female, because a female's womb is closer to the divine than anything. Men do have that womb, but not as strong. So men seek that and crave that because they want that connection back with God, but they don't know how to do it in a way where they're not thinking it's about religion, or thinking that, they'll be judged. Because most people don't even want to look for God because they think they're being judged, or thinking God is judgmental, but really we were taught that. So, all in all, that's the reason why a lot of men think the way that they do. So the third example of toxic masculinity, the only emotions a man should display are bravery and anger. Fourth, a man shouldn't depend on anyone. Asking for help is weak. And last one, a man should always want to win, whether in sports, work, relationships, or sex. Everything's a competition. Everything needs to display what masculinity is all about. Now, as I share some traits and example with you guys, as you go without your life and become aware of these examples, these traits and characteristics within yourself and within your environment, the whole point of why I'm sharing this with you is because I don't want you to judge the part of yourself that's meant to be here. A lot of people want to kill their ego. Your ego is meant to be here. It's just toxic masculinity is such a tough, rigid energy to heal, because we've been so traumatized by thinking our creator is masculine and judgmental, by thinking that we have to strive and be strong all the time. And here's the thing, you guys, sometimes being strong all the time is so unhealthy. It really is. It causes us to neglect our emotions. It teaches us coping mechanisms. Our toxic masculinity teaches us coping mechanisms. While yes, our wounded feminine energy teaches us coping mechanisms, but it's worse on the masculine side, because it's such a rigid energy that's been trying to hold on to so much power, and it doesn't know how to let go. Like for all of us, we want to control everything because we want to be perfectionists, or feel like we have the power to control everything, but that is just you fearing surrendering. And that's what we need to do. We need to surrender the masculine. Allow the masculine within us to surrender. Surrender to the feeling of fear, to the feeling of sadness, to the feeling of anger. Surrender to that vulnerability, because the whole point of why we feel, period, and the whole point of why I do this channel is because our emotions are a part of the process. Us feeling is a part of the process, not just doing. Being here, existing, being present is what good traits of the masculine is all about. And let's talk about the healthy traits of a masculine, so we can learn how to grow out of these toxic traits, so we can become better for ourselves and create even more stronger foundations rather than false foundations. Now, signs and traits of healthy masculine energy: they're present, they're grounded, they're supportive, they're empathetic. Let me look it up, because I know there's more traits. I know there's a lot of toxic masculinity traits, but, we always got to see the best aspect of things, not the negative aspect only. Healthy masculine. masculinity. Let's do it, boo-boo. Let's do it. You know, I should have done this like healthy versus toxic masculinity, but you know, I think I will do that. Let's call that video that. So learning, understanding the difference between toxic masculinity. But let's look at the positive or healthy masculinity. Any day now, please. Taking my time. I'm so impatient, you guys. That's another toxic masculine trait. See, be learning shit about self and outing self. That's how we have to do it. Take accountability. So, and that's the thing. Masculine energy doesn't want to take accountability sometimes, but we have to. Something fell. Oh, it's all right. But positive and healthy masculinity. Positive masculinity or healthy masculinity is the antidote of toxic masculinity. Is the rejection of the cultural pressure put on men to behave a certain way, such as the expectation of men to be tough and to downplay or hide their emotions. Positive masculinity requires us to acknowledge these social expectations put on men and actively combat them by allowing men to show emotion and vulnerability, and teaching everyone from a young age that masculinity is not defined by toughness, power, or aggression. Ain't that some shit? So, you guys, everything I share with you today, the purpose of it, like I said, is to become aware of this. But when you do become aware of this, set the intention that you're not going to judge yourself, that you're not going to think something's wrong with you. Self-awareness is not you blaming yourself. Is you learning how to be a better version for you. Learning how to be healthy, learning how to feel good. We all want to feel good. We all want to be happy. We all want to be healthy, but it starts with us. And it starts becoming aware of the parts of us that are not serving that healthy vision or that vision we know we're meant to be. So you guys, becoming aware of this, do not shun yourself. Do not look at the imperfections of you as there's something wrong with you. No, this is an observation to learn to love yourself on a deeper level, to forgive yourself and accept yourself, and to be able to take accountability, to make the responsible choices, to make these long-lasting changes. So I hope everything I share with you was informative and it does assist you on your journey. Other than that, you guys, I love you dearly, and I'll see you on the next one. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to go down into my link and look at my merch, because I'm going to tell you, boo-boo, it is going to rock the spirit that you hold. Other than that, you guys, I'll see you on the next one, and only love.